It's Thursday, and it is the eve of the night one of the Breeders' Crown Finals. Of course, we're looking forward to the two-day affair. Rookies on display tomorrow, three-year-olds and up on display on Saturday. It's been a very busy week leading up to it. I know a lot of people are doing a lot to get things into shape. I certainly know it's been a pretty busy week for me, so it's going to keep on getting busier. But it's a fun type of busy as I bring in my co-host, the Hall of Famer, Randy Waples, who you know very well. It's been a busy week for you as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes, very, very busy. But it's all for a good reason, though. We only get to host this for, every 3 or 4 years or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's worth it. I mean, what we're going to get to see Friday and Saturday, it's worth it.
A big time, and obviously an event or weekend that we look forward to every single year, but to have it on display right in our backyard, I mean, it's always a privilege, and it's always it's going to be a great joy for us to be a part of all the action as well, especially being at the forefront of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's the best racing in North America going to be in our backyard on Friday and Saturday. The best horses, the best drivers, the best trainers, international-wise. It's just an amazing event. So we're really, really fortunate, and we get to see it, like I said, right in our backyard. Just hoping that I'm hoping that it doesn't rain. That's I think right now it's not calling for rain, but I'm hoping that it does. And if it's a little bit cool, I'm okay with that. Just don't really want to see any rain.
Yeah, we're expecting dry conditions, but it is going to be a little bit on the chilly side, though. But we can live with that. I mean, I know, Randy, for you, you've been a part of these weekends many, many of times in your career. I've gotten a chance to have dinner with a guy who's had quite a bit of success, not only on the driving side, but obviously as well in Breeders' Crown. And obviously John Campbell. Got a chance to have dinner with him, as well as some members of Trot and the Hambletonian Breeders' Crown Society. Just love hearing the stories, right, from guys like you and John and everybody else was, grew up in the industry. They've got endless stories to tell, and just really cool to see it all. And just, the memory you guys have is remarkable, and just the passion of hearing all those stories is still pretty cool to me.
Oh, I would imagine it is, just sitting down and listening to what he had to say. I'm the same way with, I don't get to see John very much or anything, but I'll tell you another guy there that if you want to talk stories, this guy's got like a tickle trunk full of stories, and every one of them are amazing. Bill O'Donnell.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, goodness, boy. I'll tell you, he's got them itemized. I think he could just go to, I think I got a good one in the M's, and he'd go to M and come up with a story.
Don't think it's PG here for TV, but I just recently discovered his infamous soundbite from when he was scratched out of, was it the Breeder? Was he scratched out of the Breeders' Crown?
Yeah.
So his infamous soundbite, you'd have to YouTube that to kind of understand what I'm talking about. Robust Hanover. That was quite the laugh I got when I heard that soundbite.
Yeah, but I mean, something like that's passion coming through. You know what I mean? He wanted to race in that race, and it just didn't work out. So I mean, that was just passion coming through. But that is probably the most famous soundbite in all of harness racing.
It certainly was. It stood out to me as well. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, and I'm sure Billy really voiced that he certainly didn't want that to happen as well. But we're excited about what's coming up this weekend, of course. But we've got to get through this 11-pack here this evening. But we're going to recap what took place a couple of nights ago at the draw. It was a nice event, really nice event there. Great food, open bar, and we got to see really a good showing from so many even local horse people, as well as people who were in from the U.S., obviously, as they gear up for what's going to be a big, big weekend. And we never really got to see how the 3-year-old trot and colt division would shake out draw-wise. Motorcon Legacy draws post number 4, and the 2 Marcus Melander trainees, the ones who proved to be the biggest test for him, Randy, they're going to draw right inside of him. But I think it's this Luke Blaze trainee's race to lose.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. He's going to be really, really tough in there. I actually got him to tell you the truth, John. I got that family down to win 2 Breeders' Crowns this weekend.
Who's the second one?
Drawn Impression.
Yes. She's sitting on a really big effort. Wouldn't it be fitting if she got it done here on home soil, right?
Wouldn't it? Yeah. And like I said, out of the same mare, this one, you know what I mean? So he could have Motorcon Hanover could have a big Breeders' Crown, so that's what I'm kind of counting on too. Yep. One quick before we move on the Breeders' Crown, I just want to give a big shout out to Mark McKelvey and Jess.
Yep.
They did an amazing job together. Jess Otten. What I tell you, their commentary was spot on and very, very well done.
They're really well done there. And again, some good little tidbits from all the participants who joined Mark and Jess throughout the night. They always do a great job. I mean, we're acknowledging them for their work, but again, they're just two of the best that we have in this industry as well.
Agreed.
All right, we're going to look at the next draw here, the open pace, and this is the race that I'm looking forward to the most, Randy, because I think it's the most wide open of all the divisions, because I think there are several in here who can get the job done, and look how the draw shook out. I mean, this is really interesting from top to bottom.
It is, I mean, it really is. I mean, what's scary is the 7 and the 8 horse, which should be the ones that you're really focused on. You don't seem to focus on them quite as much because a couple of the ones on the inside are pretty sweet as well. You got Ken Hanover raced amazingly well in his last. Irvin Hanover, what he's doing right now is just unbelievable. And a couple of these other ones, Coach Stefanos, there's a horse that likes to come from well off. Now he draws the rail. James McDonald knows him well. He can get him placed good. This guy could come up with a big upset too.
And Oakwood Arden, I know that he's obviously trip dependent, but if you really watch all of his efforts, Randy, I mean, they've been superb, and he's been flying on the end of it. It was between post 3 and post 9 for him as everybody kind of awaited who was going to draw
I
where.
heard the cheer.
Captain Albano, I believe that was Sonia Booth, the caretaker for Captain Albano, who's obviously excited about her horse drawing
I've
the inside.
had that many times, 10 or 3, and I wasn't the one cheering because I was the one getting the 10.
No draw luck or post luck for Oakwood Arden as of late, but he's one, if they mix it up, I think can be a big factor, and he's going to be a pretty big price. Definitely the race I'm looking forward to the most, but we're going to look at the 3-year-old pacing colts, and we're obviously excited to see this group go posted. Randy Luprint suffered his lone defeat, or his first defeat, I should say, during his sophomore campaign. He's going to draw the 8-hole. Similar to last year, though, Randy, he loses in the Breeders' Crown elimination. He draws post 9. It was no problem for him as he got the job done at odds of 8-1. We're not going to get anywhere near that price. He still likely will go off as the race favorite. But I think everybody here, or multiple people in this race, they probably feel like they've got a big shot now.
I think so, yeah. I mean, if he wins, then, they're going into this. But no, he was beat. And the thing was when he come on the track, when he was up here for the NA Cup, he had a certain presence about him. Like, he was dancing out there. The eyes were bright, and he's looking around. And when he come out the other night, he didn't have quite the same, the same kind of pizzazz about him. It wasn't that there was anything wrong with him. He just didn't have the dance.
Yeah.
Just wasn't bright. You know what I mean? And he raced great. So I kind of like what you said. Last year we kind of seen the same thing. This year, I'm going to go right back to him. I still say he's the horse to beat.
I agree with you. We're not saying, he was sore or anything by any means, but I agree with you. He just didn't look like he had that same pep in his step or whatever. Yeah, he just didn't have, there was something off about him.
Right.
Because we're so accustomed to seeing him, and just the other times you just see him and you say, wow. And he just never looked like he was that, again, pep in his step, never looked like he had as much pizzazz that particular night. You watch his race, he raced super.
Unbelievably well.
Right? I mean, he closed as well as you could, and he just ran out of racetrack. So, I mean, we heard Ronnie Burke say at the draw, it's all systems go that night. I mean, on Breeders' Crown night, they're going to go down swinging. There's not going to be any, maybe hopefully off the pace trips. If Ronnie believes he's got the best horse, he wants them to go down swinging, and I think that's what we're going to see in that Breeders' Crown final. But we've got some other local hopefuls that have a big shot as well.
Absolutely, we do.
All right, we're going to be talking Breeders' Crown action over the next couple of nights as well. I'm sure we're going to be talking plenty off camera as well as
we're going to be talking the next 3 weeks.
Oh, big time. We're so pumped up about it. But we still got a Thursday program to get through here before we can kickstart that awesome action. And we're going to kick things off here. Race number 1. 2-year-olds on the trot here, Randy. We've got a field of 9. A 9-5 current favorite, the 8-horse Tavern on the green. Look, this is a pretty big drop here for this 2-year-old son of a Green Manalishi.
It's about as big as you're going to get, right? Dropping in against from the very, very best of the Ontario Sire State colts right down into maiden. So, it's not going to get any better for this. So I'm going to go Tavern on the green. I mean, if you look at he starts his career, or the Wellwood and the Gold at Grand River, he's wearing hobbles. And then he takes the hobbles off for the Champlain and his last Gold. The Champlain, he was okay, but in the Gold, he ends up making a break. Now he goes back to the hobbles in the Super Final. And even though it's not remarkable, he spent time on the outside. He finished 5th, and there's not going to face a Strobe Light, another great mass, crunch in the... He's not going to face any of these. But the replay that we're going to show you, even though I'm going to go with Tavern on the green, I'd like to show you the replay on Mass Bar. And we're going to see the replay with her. And this is also going to show us Baselets. So I got Mass Bar in for second and Baselets in for third. And we're going to see these two because I think both of these horses are going to take good play in here tonight. Right now, Baselet's sitting in the deuce for Jimmy Lee and driver James McDonald, and Dougie McNair in behind them with Mass Bar. They're going to hit the wire together, the 1 and the 6 here, and we're going to come back with another effort in here again tonight and see if maybe Mass Bar can, get the better, because to me, she's the one with the most trot right here on the end of it, and she just falls short. But again, Tavern on the Green, John, that is just too enticing for me to look the other way on him.
Both really good efforts by the fillies that you highlighted, right? Mass Bar as well as Baselets. I thought Baselets was probably an underlay in that spot and got the job done off a perfect trip. I think Doug's still trying to feel out Mass Bar a little bit, right? He took an approach where he tried to, cut the mile in that spot, got picked off by My Ghost. And, just tried a different approach there where he said, you know what, I'm going to try and work out an off-the-pace approach and see if I can pick them off late in the mile. So I feel like he's still trying to feel that filly out. And, again, this is only start 7 in her young career. But you mentioned Tavern on the Green. Big drop for this guy. I didn't think we were going to get anywhere close to that 8-1 morning line off that power drop. But I went to a blonde Hanover here in this spot. And you pointed out to me that last time out, I thought that she was just a lock to get the job done, especially off her first couple of tries. Bobby tried to push out of there off the gate to secure a pretty good spot. Not sure if he was going to try and drive onto the lead, but she made a miscue. You pointed out to me that she's took the trotting hopples off for that effort, and now she put them back on here. So the trotting hopples have kept her to task. She's going to have them back on here tonight, and I think if she's within striking distance, she could be tough to fend off, because I think she's got some go late.
I completely agree. This is a tough bunch in here, but I mean, again, though, you know me, John. I mean, I have a tendency to go with the Colt over the filly.
Absolutely. Race 1, that's the way we're going to kick off that early pick 5, and we're going to move on to race number 4. That's going to kick off the pick 6 sequence, and there's a carryover opportunity, Randy. I mean, we've been thinking about Breeders' Crown all week long, but completely forgot that we've got a nice little carryover opportunity to kick things off here, and we've got a field of 9 going postward, but it's going to be awfully tough to beat that morning line favorite, Scorpion Sealster. We both said he was sitting on a good effort. We loved that October 2nd try. I don't know if we expected 51-4 though that particular night, but the moment he touched down on front, you just said the race is over.
In 51-4, and how's he doing it, eh, John?
Easy.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you the replay of Scorpion Sealster, because obviously both of us were really taken to task with this guy. We both absolutely loved him in this effort. So let's take a look at Scorpion Sealster, Jody Jamieson for David Maneri, and they qualified him. He missed a little bit of time. They qualified him, and then his first start, they didn't do anything with him. He drew the 7-hole. They just kind of took him to the back. He showed a good last quarter, but this is amazing. And again, I don't like to show replays when you can just read it on the program that yes, this horse was an easy winner, but it's the way that he's doing it. I mean, look at the body language on Jody here.
Yep, just out for a stroll. But I think it's important to highlight, though, again, we can see it on the race line, but go back and watch his early career tries. And you tell me that was a colt who looked like he was comfortable in the way he was pacing. He was steppy, never was comfortable. Dave Maneri was able to get him rectified, because he was sitting on that kind of effort, but we didn't expect 51 and change. But on October 2nd, we both said there was a horse who caught our eye at the end of the mile, way at the back, when it was Scorpion Sealster. He was the first Bulldog sold at the sales, right? So this was one that went for over 100,000.
And this is out of the same family, Sorcia Sealster, Stockade Sealster. So, big upside with this guy.
Big time. So you had to figure that he was going to be able to piece it together. And again, jumping up with a 51-4 mile, I mean, dropping nearly 4 seconds there. That was a big time effort. So he's going to be a price of the shortest varieties in this spot. And who do you like as a value player underneath? Because we know it's going to be tough to beat him.
Value play, I'm going to say the 8 horse, Twin B John B.
Okay.
Had a lot of time off, come back after October the 17th to getting a bridle change with him. I've always liked him right from the beginning. I think that there's some talent there, but somehow or another he just kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit.
I like Large on Loney. And from starting from post number 5, I like this guy's efforts over the B track. I think this is one that could potentially round out the exact
another cattle wash.
A decent price again. Another cattle wash there that I think has showed some speed early on in his career. We're going to move on to race number 5. That's going to close out this early pick 5. We've got more maiden trotters, Randy. I always find this awfully tricky to handicap here in this spot. One horse in particular I liked last time out, and I believe I inherited him as the top selection. That was Gucci Goo. I thought that was a really good effort. Just never really could get involved last time out. He's going to be making his second start for a new trainer, Kyle Rule. 10-hole or not, I say why not? I'm going to take a shot with him in this spot. What say you?
Same, 100% agreement with you there with this guy, John. And, another thing with him, and now, wearing hobbles every start. Tonight, no hobbles. Interesting. But there's so much here. Whether he's hobbles or not. And I don't believe Kyle Rule would take the hobbles off if he thought the horse needed it. So Gucci goes, Goo is going to be the way I go. And let's take a look at the replay on this guy. And this was an incredible effort for him. Boy, was he ever, right from the very beginning, he just had absolutely, really no place to kind of go. He's at the back of the pack. Here now, and look at the ground that this guy's able to make up. I mean, it's scary, and I could maybe see them pulling the hobbles because they're not tight. They're very, very loose on him. So maybe he's just the type of horse that he doesn't really need them. They, wanted to get him to the races. And you can see Bobby here, like he's already looking like a gopher, looking for a hunter. He's got the head up, looking to see if there's any room here. And there's no room. And you can just tell by his body language, he's got horse, but there's nowhere for this guy to go. And he's going to get up into a tight spot in here and just, again, shut down the whole length of the stretch. So 10-hole or not, this is the way that I'm going to go in this one.
I'm with you, and it's not often I'm going to back a horse that's winless in 27 career tries.
With the 10-hole.
Those are the horses I try to shy away from. But again, last time out it was a new trainer. So it's a new set of eyes, and you can kind of give them a little bit of a pass. Things, just didn't seem to work out in the old barn, but he put forth good tries despite that, but probably a little bit inconsistent at times. And Bob put him in some good spots. He worked out some good trips at times, and he just didn't appear to have much on the end of it. That's as live as I've seen him late in the mile in a long, long time. So Scott Young's going to take over driving duties for this 3-year-old gelded son of Green Manalishi. He's done some driving for Kyle Rule as well. And again, outside draw or not, I think this is one that's going to have a big shot. Florida guy, the morning line favorite at 7-5. We've backed him in a couple of outings, Randy. Just seems like he's got too much work to do too late, and he always has a tendency to kind of miss out. You know what? I think he's got a big opportunity to get the job done if he's a little bit closer, but one of those horses that it seems like he's just a little bit unlucky late.
Unlucky, or there's just a little bit of a miss going on here, because he seems like he gets up beside those last horses and then he just calls it off. So picking up a new driver tonight, Jody Jameson. Tyler Borth was listed, but he's going to go to the Roger Gebhardt horse, JS. She's a real special, and I'm going to throw her in for third.
Wouldn't surprise me though if we saw some a potential upset, right? Because Florida guy could be a susceptible favorite in this spot. Look, our top selection at the end of the day, starting from post 10, so we might be up against it from the post position, but I think this is one that is worth taking a shot on, so why not?
I think he can float him forward. Yep. I mean, the 10 hole to get away 10th, it's always going to be there. So why take it right off the bat? Go move forward, stay on the outside. He can take it. Obviously, he can take it. So I'm just hoping that he doesn't. And with Florida guy having, his inability really to get into a good spot off the gate, and with an inside draw, he might be the one getting away way at the back. And then, obviously the advantage is Gucci Goo.
A tricky way to close out that early pick 5, and we're going to move on to race number 6, and that's going to kick off the late pick 5. Just 11 tonight, so just 2 pick 5s. Don't worry, we'll have you covered with 3 pick 5s over the course of the next couple of nights. And I think this is a competitive way to kick off the Harvest Series here for 2-year-old Pacing Colts. A field of 9. Morning line favorite's going to be Barracuda Hanover. He got the job done last time out, a horse that you have always liked and have backed multiple times earlier on this year. But you did provide a little bit of a tidbit from a conversation that you had with the trainer and co-owner Jack Darling. So why don't you relay what was told to you from Jack?
Well, I mean, when I seen September the 13th and then qualified back, close to 3 weeks later, I actually reached out to Jack, and beautiful about Jack. I mean, he's right back on the phone to you, but I just said to him, did you give him a little bit of time and then geld him, because he's listed as a gelding? And he said he's not a gelding. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So anyway, this is still a stud colt, and this is the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go Barracuda Hanover. We're going to show you this replay. Again, you can see what he did, but I want you to see the way that he did it. He was very, very impressive. But as we're watching this, John, what about the 9-horse PA Salt? I got him in for second. Bad post to work with. Used multiple times in his last race. And the horse that beat him, I think is a killer Figment. So as we're watching Barracuda Hanover here, you're going to see Tyler Borth up on the top with this guy, and it's the way that he does it. It's the way that he just moves away from the field, comes the last quarter in 27 seconds like it's absolutely nothing. Give me your thoughts on PA Salt.
We're going to get a chance to see his stretch drive, and I thought that was a really good effort in this spot here as well. So a solid second that I thought past Salt came out of Figment. But to point out about Barracuda Hanover, though, Randy, I mean, we kind of forgot about him because he missed a month of action, right? But this was an effort that he was sitting on, right? You can only be covered up or have trouble trips for so long. Eventually, you're going to be sent forward and be given a real shot. And there were just some really tough trips for driver Tyler Borth aboard, this son of Bulldog Hanover. But once he took him to the lead, it was all systems go, and he was able to get the job done. Yeah, you know, a horse that we thought was going to get the job done, Axial, in that spot, just didn't really look comfortable. But Barracuda Hanover, he was all systems going, 153 and 3, 27 flat final quarter. So this is one that I think it can continue to improve.
Did you? Where did you go? You
I
went
went
to
to,
four.
all the right
quickly
places.
before you go to your pick there. What's your thoughts though on Paul Salt?
I didn't use him tonight. Just
Really?
on the post, didn't use him, and maybe I should have factored him in a little bit higher. Like to your point again, was a runner-up to Figment, and what have we seen Figment do? Rattle off 3 consecutive victories, and what was a dicey effort last time out, though, right? To finding a seam late in the mile, but he was able to flaunt his class and flaunt his talent against that group when they did find a clear
Good
lane.
horses
But
find a way to win.
they do, and look, this is a competitive group, though, right? I think I went against him, but wouldn't be surprised if he got the job done. But a couple others that I just prefer a little bit more.
Right, all the right places. Don't you find with him that he's kind of starting to come into his season?
That's exactly
better?
it, yeah.
Yeah, he's the sharp horse heading in here, no doubt about
Completely
that.
agree. That's going to kick off that late pick 5. We're going to move on to race number 10, and that's going to be the last leg of that late pick 5. Also going to be the first half of the late double. We've got a field of 7 here in this spot, Randy. We're going to see the pop-up series final here for Ontario sired 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. And look, I think a lot of us figured Boxer Sealster dropping out of the super final. He should be all systems go. Out of ice, he's going to take on a couple of gold rivals, but he's been sharp off a 49 flat mile. He should be tough to beat. But then, obviously, sometimes a wrench gets thrown into our plans, and Bruno No leaves out of there from the middle of the gate, something we just really haven't seen much of. We've seen some gate speed from him. We've never seen him carry it the whole way. So, look, tough for me to handicap a horse like that in that particular spot, given that he was 20-something to 1 the week prior, was probably 4th beaten a few lengths, and, showed a bit of go at the end of it. I didn't know he was ready to step up and go in 49 flat in that particular evening, but he certainly caught my attention, so much so that I'm going to make him a repeat factor. If you've got that in your back pocket with that kind of effort, you've got a new dimension in your back pocket, so I'm going to stick by you.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's as far as we need to talk about him. I'm exactly the same. Bruno No. One thing we can say about him is like a few of these horses, like say Out of Ice, say Boxer Sealster, and even Grin and Win, Silver, they've raced tough earlier, where Bruno No wasn't really doing anything. So, I mean, how tired would he be, So I completely agree, John. I think Bruno No is the way to go. And let's take a look at this replay. And maybe everybody out there will see what we're seeing, because this was a big effort.
Oh, really? We were waiting for him to come back to them, right? I mean, when we saw the 25 and change first quarter, and especially the 53 half pop up, we said, all right, who from the backfield's going to get him?
They're all around him.
And you could see Boxer Sealster, Trevor Henry angling him out. And at this point, I mean, if you want to pick a horse to get the job done, you're saying Boxer Sealster is a winner off this trip. Couldn't get to him.
No.
I mean, Bruno No was good to go. And look, we've seen this in the past, earlier this season with J.R. Plan as well. Picks up time passer. Kind of rattles his cage a little bit, goes down the road and gets the job done in a big mile. What does he do with Bruno No? Picks him up for the first time or, second consecutive week and said, I'm going to give this guy a different kind of a trip. And he responded in a big way again. Awfully tough to handicap, of course, because I think when we were analyzing the race, we figured, well, I've liked him many a times, Randy, but he's going to have to come off the pace and beat what's going to be a tougher group. The talent and the speed was there, but it seems like he was good to go that night. So one that I'm going to back as a repeat player, and it seems like you're following suit as well.
Yeah, remember last year when Boxer Sealster come up there, he would use, a lot of times he'd lead and kind of get himself into a good spot, but we don't see it as much this year, Scott McEnany sending in a bridle change on this horse tonight. Blinkers to blind.
Big time.
Usually when it goes to blind bridle, that's telling you one thing. He is going to be, driven aggressively tonight.
I think I would even consider swapping my pick after that change, because I think for a colt like that,
Agreed.
I think it's going to make a significant difference. And not to mention, he's got the class to be competitive in a field like this. Out of ice, though, again, never really was able to get involved early on in that mile. There were a few levers in that spot. Still a really good effort. Again, another Carl Jamieson trainee here in this spot, one that he also co-owns alongside, that he co-owns along with Jody. I think this is one who just continues to get better. I mean, we've seen another colt where he started off in the grassroots, was building confidence. Here he is against Gold Company holding his own and putting forth really good tries.
He's won over half of his starts this year.
Yeah,
How
amazing.
can you argue
Yeah,
with that, right? Yeah, I got him in for third. Aquinas Hanover, big movement on the end of his last time. First time James McDonald. James is going to come back. In my opinion, a better post for this horse, not the rail. He's got the 6-hole, So Aquinas Hanover, I threw him in on the bottom. I think that he could come up with a really, really big one here. 0 for 18 so far this year, John.
He could, but just too much work likely that he's going to need to make up. That's the thing. Unless we see a different kind of tactic in this spot, he's going to need things to work out his way to get the job done, but definitely one that is always live on the end of it. We're going to move over to race number 11 here. This is going to close out this Thursday night program. We're scratched down to a field of 9 here in this spot. French Manny Hanover scratched sick here this evening. 8-5 morning line favorite Supergirl Molly. She's coming off a second place qualifying try to Apex, who's going to be one of the main contenders there in that 2-year-old colt trot division tomorrow night. But, if this filly shows up, if the speed and talent shows up here for this daughter of Muscle Mass, she could easily bottom out this field if that's the approach that Trevor tries to take, as well as if she's on her game.
Yeah, that's the big thing, if she's on her game, eh? But, I mean, talent-wise, I think she kind of has a bit of an advantage on the whole field when she's on her game. So I'm going to go Supergirl Molly as well in here. I was using French Money Hanover down on the bottom of my ticket, but she's going to be scratched. The interesting one is Validus from the outside, because Chris Jr. is not going to be here tonight, so he's going to have to pick up a new driver. Has a bad kind of post to work with, but boy, oh boy, that was a big first effort for him.
She's put forth good tries all season long, all career long, right? I mean, 4 tries this year. They haven't been bad efforts, right? She's been left a little bit too much to do, but Chris, put her in play early on. She's got a funny way of going, like her
very unique,
like her sister Roland, though. The same way, right? So we've seen that from Roland in the past, but the speed is there, the talent is there. Again, this is only start number 5 that she's making tonight. She's going to step up in class. Look, I still think this is a contender with the right trip. I don't care if she's stepping up to non-winners of 2 here tonight. If she's within striking distance, she'll be heard from.
Yeah, for sure. You went Nightingale?
I went Nightingale. I think this is one who I like the maiden breaking score on October 2nd. Break your maiden, you've got some confidence, and where's the next start in the super final?
Right.
Tough spot. I think she can work out a pretty good trip and be heard from here in this spot. But I do agree, Supergirl Molly, if she shows up, she'll be the one to beat. Those are our thoughts on this Thursday night program, and we're going to preview a little bit more action on the next couple of nights. You could see by the graphic there, 12 championships over the course of the next 2 nights. We've got 4 finals tomorrow with the rookies taking center stage. Saturday night, Randy, we've got 8. So we're going to have double the amount there, and we've got 3-year-olds as well as older rivals. So I like the fact that it's spread over 2 nights because it gives us a weekend feel. But part of me also says, kind of like the fact if all 12 are on one night too, because that would be wicked too.
I think that's my favorite way of looking at it. You know what I mean? I can remember the Breeders' Cup thoroughbred-wise now, and the Breeders' Cup when it first came out, and when they were all one day, that was great TV. Yep. Sit home and just watch that whole card. And
of course, Randy and I will be on the simulcast here all night long. Chad will be calling the action over the course of the next couple of nights as well. But there's different ways to watch the Breeders' Crown action. We've got Game Plus over the course of the next 2 nights. I believe it'll be Mark McKelvey, Greg Blanchard, and they do such a great job there, primetime racing, showcasing our sport on a national level. I think it's important to get a national TV presence, Randy, especially for our sport, because I want more people to see the beauty in it that we do.
Oh, absolutely. And those 2 guys that you just mentioned, there's nobody that could do a better job than Mark and Greg. Boy, oh boy, they're sharp.
We're going to look at the wagering board here for the next couple of nights. You could see a couple of $100,000 guaranteed pick 5s. We've got one early on tomorrow night, but we've also got a mid pick 5, which is going to showcase 4 of those finals tomorrow night. So good wagering opportunities. Now Saturday, you could see that we've got a $100,000 mid pick 5 like we do on a Friday night, as well as an early pick 5. That pick 6 mandatory payout. They are going to have it on Saturday as opposed to Friday. It's because if there's a carryover opportunity on the Friday, that's only going to strengthen the wagering opportunity on Saturday. And I like the addition. Look, when we've seen the mandatory pick six payouts on those big stakes nights, last time on Metro Night, we got a pool of $50,000. So a great idea for them to integrate that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already, like, even, without Friday night coming involved, as long as it doesn't go, but it's already up to $30,000. So if we can just get a little bit more in there, by the time Saturday rolls along and they bet into it or whatever, like you said, it'll probably be about a $100,000 pool.
We've got a pick six carryover tonight. It looks like it could be a relatively chalky night, but if a couple big prices kind of come in, how about a double pick six carryover going into a Breeders' Crown final, night one, especially with those races being a part of the sequence? I think it would only strengthen the wagering menu. So it would mean that we'd have to suffer, though, right, Randy? Because our top picks would go down the drain most likely tonight.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm okay with it for the greater good of the wagering product,
good.
right? All right. I make sacrifices.
This is it.
I'm okay. I'm okay to sacrifice a good night of picking tonight if it means we've got more carryover opportunities tomorrow.
Nobody's ever going to call you a selfish handicapper.
It's my favorite word in the dictionary.
You love spreading it.
I love it. I love it. Carryover. Favorite word in the dictionary. Only thing better is double carryover. That's what I love the most. So, going to move on and look at some of those divisions tomorrow night as well on Friday night, and let's take a look at some of those fields that are going to go postward yet again, Randy. Look, we spent a lot of time talking about it on Monday. We spent a lot of time talking about it all week, just privately, you and I as well. But this is a really nice group of 2-year-old trotting colts going postward. And how about 1, 2, 3? How they drew Apex and a pair of elimination winners here as they draw inside. It's going to be curious. I'm curious to see how everybody's going to shake out off the card, because somebody else from the outside is going to be taking their shot early.
I have to, but I can honestly tell you I didn't get outside the 4-horse.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that those inside
Looks
4
like
are
it.
going to be really, really tough in there. I mean, the 5-horse is racing good in a good spot. 6-horse, Dougie McNair, Kingman, we've seen him come out of there before. I agree with you. I think somebody's going to be pushing out of there, but this inside 4 horses are crazy tough.
Apex, obviously Apex being our Mohawk Million winner, and I think the time off, I didn't go with him tomorrow night, but I think the time off is going to really help him. I heard some people maybe talking about the fact of, a month off, he's coming in having not raced. Again, 4 consecutive weeks in some big time races, high pressure races. The colt needed a bit of a break, and you could tell that Melander was just pleased to get that bye. Qualified him here last week at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Melander's going to have him sharp for tomorrow night.
I think he doesn't need any more than that. When he won the Mohawk Million, I mean, he moved first over past the half, come first over the rest of the way, and then just walked away from them. So does he need to have that 7-day rotation to be at his best? I don't think he does. I think he's just a natural athlete.
And Diabolic Hill, one that I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
The body language was superb. He really has started to mature here at the right time. We're going to look at the 2-year-old filly trot here, a field of 10 going postward. Storybook Love, that was a really cool moment there for Todd Ratchford, getting his first opportunity at a Breeders' Crown, making the most of the elimination victory as well. So she draws really well, but how good was Nezuko Kamado as well, though? She's going to draw post 2. Never looked like she was going to get the job done until you started watching her take a few strides.
Yeah, wow. I mean, just absolutely flying on the end of it there. She's going to be tough. The inside draw, Scotty Z, I think, still staying with this one. Yeah, so that one's going to be tough. I can tell you, though, John, in my picks, I did use the 5 and I did use the 6.
Okay. Look, the 6 was a part of some big panels early on, and she stuck around, right? Gilbert Jog, she trotted a middle half of 54 and change, and she was still around in the heat of the action there and was able to pick up a good piece. She was trotting well.
This is one of the better draws.
Look at Set Your Sights High, though. She was an elimination favorite. She looked like coming into those elims that she was the one to beat, and now she draws post 9. You can't count her out, and the post is only going to help inflate the price as well.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
All right, we're going to go on to the next division here, and we're going to look at the 2-year-old pacing fillies. Luadipa, that's the talk of the town, Randy. This Burke Homebred has been sensational, and it's going to be awfully tough to beat her, I'd say.
I don't know who can.
Yeah.
I really don't. You know what I mean? I think it stops and ends with Luadipa. There's some other really nice horses that have caught my eye. She's a bulldog. Daya, Sangria Summer, absolutely love her, but she's different. This one's different, I mean, I'm not sure she couldn't step in against the 3-year-old fillies and beat them.
No kidding. I mean,
she's
again,
just incredible.
She does it effortlessly, right? And again, we're expecting a big effort from her. And what's going to be one of 2 really live drives for driver Rodney Wren, obviously Blueprint being the other one. Going to look at the 2-year-old pacing colts. This is going to wrap up our action tomorrow night in terms of Breeders' Crown finals, and what a way to close things out, though, Randy. Bojangles, post 6, but the 3 Burke trainees drawing 3, 4, 5. The Canadian record holder, Brandon Boulevard, 148-4 elimination score. He draws post 2, so what's going to happen off the gate?
I don't know. I mean, this is going to be interesting. A lot of nice horses in here. Obviously, a lot of looks to Bojangles, undefeated so far. Everybody's hoping that he's going to be able to, carry himself to the winner's circle. But there's just Brandon Boulevard looked amazingly good last week and fresher. Bojangles, this will be his 12th start. Brandon Boulevard's nowhere close to that, so he's got a little bit of freshness on him. One that I think that could come up with a big effort is the one horse. Show Me a Race.
Raced really well.
I think that this one could be a sleeper.
A couple of Chris Ryder trainees, I think, were a little bit under the radar. The filly racing third.
Used her
this
too,
guy
Pat
racing,
Ryder.
underneath, and this guy finishing second. Doc Moore, he caught up with Jeff Porchak, Standardbred Canada, at that live draw, and got, I listened to him speak about Bojangles, and said that if it wasn't, the Breeders' Crown wasn't in our backyard, it would have been a hard no.
Yeah.
Start 10 would have been a hard no. So they decided, obviously, how he felt after training on Monday or Tuesday. Said he'll be good to go in that Breeders' Crown limb, but he did it so effortlessly. I mean, Bob called on him once and he took off. So he's got to be feeling pretty good. I know he's nervous though, Randy. I mean, he's mentioned it to us a couple of times too. Just hope it doesn't burn you next year, right? But with the way his colt has looked, the body language, you have to figure for me, I think we might have not even seen his best effort. His best effort could be coming tomorrow night, truthfully.
Could be, yeah. And the thing is, too, is like you said, and Doc said as well, it's in your backyard. It's pretty hard to refuse a race like this. I know that it must have been a tough decision anyway, but I'm sure that, again, because it was in the backyard, that had to be the biggest reason why this horse is still racing.
Interesting, though, again, because when Doc qualified him the first time, he took him off the pace, but he had a pretty good hold of Doc, and he finished second in that lone qualifier. He joked his lone loss came with him in the bike. And then Louis got a chance to qualify him, and of course Bob was able to pick up the drive, and we know what he's done with him. But he mentioned that he just hopes the colt isn't getting a little bit too hot. He was referencing that Bob used to kind of have him off the gate a little bit because he was a little bit too revved up, but he's continued to get a little hot. So they changed the mini bit on him. They changed his bit to a mini bit a couple of starts ago. And they've had Bob
That's
put
just
him,
an add-on.
And they've had Bob put him right on the gate. He says that he's been getting a little bit better though, a little bit less headstrong there in that spot. I always thought if you put them right on the gate, they just want to go, but it seems like he's it's helped them out a little bit.
Sometimes they'll settle, you know what I mean? Sometimes they're funny because sometimes when they go up to the gate or whatever and they just want to fight with you, they're sharp and whatever, they just want to fight with you. And if you pop them onto the gate, they'll usually let you go. But there's the odd one that doesn't want to let you go when you get him up on the gate. And his decision is, I'll go underneath the gate. Yep. So a lot of things can go on out there. And the mini bit that you were talking about, basically, so he's got a driving bit in his mouth, which is a snaffle bit. It's the big rings that you see on their side. The mini bit's going to be in there as well.
Okay.
So he's going to have two bits in his mouth. And all that does is just kind of avoid him taking too much of a hold. I mean, he's getting racy. So I don't know if the mini bit is going to be good enough or not. But I think at this point, Doc can't afford to make too many changes. So, mini bit should help a little. I'm sure at some point we'll see that versatility that Doc was maybe hoping for, says that he's got in his arsenal. But the way he's been racing, I'd rather be the one controlling the action because they can't get to me right now. And who's to say it's going to happen tomorrow night? That's going to wrap up our thoughts there for some Breeders' Crown action. I can't wait to chop it up tomorrow night, Randy, over the course of the next couple of nights. We're going to look at some plays of the night board here for Thursday night, and let's go through your selections. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Sendica in here. Draws the rail, but picks up McNair, too. I liken this change for her. My all-in's going to be Scorpion Sealster. We showed you the replay on him. He was incredible in 51. Then Waple's Watch is going to be Gucci Gucci Goo coming out of the 10-hole. And my worth a look is going to be Stonebridge Impish. James McDonald picking this one up for Terry Fritz. All
right, so there's a look at Randy's plays board, and let's look at mine here, my plays of the night. My rebound, White Blonde Hanover. I feel a little bit better now that you pointed out that the trotting hopples are going to be added back on. My worth a look, Gucci Gucci Goo. I'm in agreement with you. My all-in DA Super Glow, one that you loved last time out, and I think made him put in steps because of likely just getting jammed up, or doubled up, I should say, in that spot potentially. And my repeat's going to be Bruno, no. So there's our thoughts on Thursday night action, and we spoke about Thursday, we spoke about Friday, we spoke about Saturday night as well, as we see some of the other resident handicappers and their plays of the nights. But we got to be mentioning Sundays, Randy, because after Breeders' Crown, I mean, we've got this weekend. I believe we'll be going right into Sundays the following weekend. Sunday night racing starting November 2nd, so football's not going to be the only thing I'm going to be doing on Sundays. It's going to be partaking in some harness racing action here on Sunday night. Something different. They're trying something new. Let's just see how it works out, and I'm, intrigued and looking forward to it. So we get 3 consecutive days off though now, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're going to try this for 8 Sundays, just see how it goes. And then we're going to have to work maybe 4 days in a row. But we're going to have to work 5 consecutive days next week because Thursdays are still going to be on the calendar next week. So we'll have to come in 5 straight days. It's going to be a bit tiring, but we're lucky we do what we love as well.
Yes, true. But I mean, years ago, Sunday racing was really good. They started a little bit earlier, but boys, they loved Sunday racing.
Yep, I remember being a part of some of those days, and I remember watching a New Year's Day card. That was my favorite card of the year, showing up for New Year's. But I understand it's a late night the night before. I understand people not wanting to come in early on New Year's Day. Plus, in horse racing, we don't get many holidays.
No, but there was always usually a big giveaway on New Year's too. It'd be a toque or a coffee cup or something, and people would just line up for it.
I was always looking forward if they provided some betting vouchers of the higher variety. That always piqued my interest. 0 minutes to go before race number 1 as we kick off this Thursday night program. It's going to be the eve of some Breeders' Crown action. Good luck.